hit the up arrow on this stop video thing, and it'll give you your option to blur there.
Yeah. Are we all set up and ready?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we are.
Thank you. We'll call the meeting of the Otonabee Region Conservation Authority regular Board of Directors for September 19th. For 2 p.m. We respectfully acknowledge that we are on the treaty and traditional territory of the Mississauga Anishinaabe. We offer our gratitude to First Peoples for their care for and teachings about our earth and our relations. May we honor those teachings. Leads us to item 2 on our agenda, an approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve tonight's agenda? Director Taylor, Director Boyle, all those in favor? That is carried. Do we have any disclosure of pecuniary interests or conflicts this evening? Seeing none, if anything does arise, please note the chair. We have no delegations this evening, and that leaves us to our 2024-040 minutes of our meeting held on August 15th, 2024. We get a motion to approve the minutes. Director Huntley, Director Black, all those in favor? And that is carried. Does anyone have any business arising from the minutes? Seeing none. That moves us to part B of our agenda, reports for approval. Our first report is 2024-041, our draft 2025 performance objectives. And I will pass it over to our CAO, Jeanette.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I hear an echo. Um, 1 minute, please. Shelby, I'm not sure. There, is that better?
Yes. I can't hear it here. I don't know if anyone else.
Okay, thank you. I think staff corrected that. Thank you very much. This report is brought to the board annually, and staff prepare our performance objectives for the following year. These objectives help to establish what we're going to monitor and report back to you in 2025, but also to help establish our work plans and our draft 2025 budget. This year we took an opportunity as the management team to sit down and review them. We've added a number of key items as well. So they're listed as new. So again, lots of times where we have similar objectives year over year, but then we try to also add new objectives to continue to have that improvement in the organization and moving forward. And so just to highlight a few, staff would like to review the planning and permitting fee structure. So this is not the fees attached, but the actual structure, what's major, what's minor, and how it's actually formatted. We also want to continue to do our floodplain mapping implementation that the board already approved. And we're taking a look at a lot of our infrastructure that's currently out in the field that has been closed or shut down over previous years, but has not been yet decommissioned. So from a risk perspective, we really want to be able to address those buildings, those old gatehouses and pit toilets that are still out in the field, and also do a review of our programs and services. And that connects a lot to our legislation, but also to our strategic plan. So I'm happy to answer any questions that the board might have on the draft 2025 performance objectives.
Thank you, Jeanette. Do we have any comments or questions on our performance objectives that will lead us into our 2025 budget process? Director Huntley?
Through you, Chair, I guess the only comment I had was like when I looked at something like, offering tree seedling sales program. I know we do that every year, but would this be a place where you kind of set a target? Like, we sold 14,000 last year, we're going to aim for 16,000 last year. Like, would quantifying some of these things kind of add a little bit more to it? You know what I mean? Like, have you thought about that or?
Through the chair to Director Huntley, certainly the management team actually did talk a lot about that, with pros and cons around this. And again, these are in for endorsement, so we're happy to bring them back through the budgeting process with some targets if the board would like to see that. There was a feeling that sometimes those targets were achievable and sometimes they weren't, and the staff felt that reporting out on a quarterly basis on the accomplishments was a way to actually measure year over year versus setting it actually in the objective. So it was just a reframing this time around. But if the board would like to do that, you're going to see that in a few of them,
Right.
not just that particular one. In terms of things where there are quantifiable numbers in the performance objectives, those are things that we can directly manage, and we know we have those assets, we manage those. But in some cases, whether you're putting it into the permits or you're putting into the seedlings, we don't have the ability to manage directly what that performance outcome is, right? So whether it's viewed as a target or whether it's viewed as staff feeling like they're not making the target, it's the optics of that part, right?
Yeah, I guess follow up through you, Chair. I guess there's a difference between an objective and a target, right? If your objective is to have the program, it's not necessarily your target to sell as many trees. They kind of a secondary baseline almost.
Right. More like a very specific KPI kind of approach, right?
Okay.
Right.
Thank you, Director. Director Ashmore?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to Jeanette. Just wondering if City Kawartha Lakes, they have a little bit of a different way of doing it this year. They have our budget task force. I'm not on the budget task force, but other councillors are. Have we, or as Tonopy, as you usually present to the City Kawartha Lake Council, will you be doing that in November, or have you submitted anything yet to the council or to the budget committee as far as City Kawartha Lakes?
Jeanette, if you just want to give a quick timeline on the process, please.
For the draft budget, yes. So that is also in the background. Staff are working on that, and we do talk a lot about our process and analyzing our expenses and revenues and everything. That gets presented at the October board meeting. And then following the board discussion, it is then sent to the municipalities and posted for our 30-day circulation. With respect to the city of Kawartha Lakes and to the city of Peterborough, both of those municipalities often reach out to us asking for what a draft budget might look like, and I've already responded in correspondence to those two municipalities in terms of what it would look like at this point. Again, so that they actually, City of Peterborough had increased their timeline, so they were looking for that early midsummer actually. So both of those municipalities have high level look at a draft percentage increase.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Director. Any more questions or comments on the performance objective report? Seeing none. Our recommended motion is be resolved the report number 2024-041 be received, and that the board endorse the draft 2025 performance objectives as presented, and that they be used as the basis for preparing the 2025 operating and capital budget, and that staff be authorized and directed to do all things necessary to give effect to these resolutions. We get a mover and a seconder.
Happy to
Director
move it.
Huntley, Director Baldwin, all those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. On to item B2, our 2024-042 draft watershed-based resource management strategy. And again, I will turn this over to Arail.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is a draft strategy. Again, we're having some of that feedback in terms of things. So we staff have prepared this draft. This is a provincial directive that all conservation authorities need to prepare. However, when the final document is approved, it is not sent off to the ministry. And it does conform to the legislation in terms of the things that it needs to include. You can see that the draft has pulled a lot of information from other program areas already. The program managers work collaboratively on this draft, and we are seeking support from the board so that we can circulate it for comment to our member municipalities, but also to the public. And I just wanted to highlight again on page 16 of the strategy itself, it does talk about some of those objectives and the things that we're going to be looking to measure over time in terms of the watershed strategy. And staff also feel that the actual document itself is a good process to go through. However, in order to keep the information that actually keeps the document alive, so to speak, staff feel that using a GIS platform is actually the best way to be able to take that. So, you know, where do we have our monitoring stations? What are we actually collecting? Where do we have the specific data? And so that's sort of how we're going to be able to make this document come alive, if you will, and be able to be utilized. So we're looking for approval to circulate for comment, and it would obviously come back to the board for approval. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jeanette. Director Black.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. The one in your report talks about the plan that Peterborough County is going to be engaged in moving forward. I think a couple of areas we put money aside for. How will that integrate with this, or will it be part of it, or like how will that information be shared? Seems like we're both doing something a little similar here.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So yes, this has been a bit of a topic leading up to this. So again, we all conservation authorities need to have a watershed-based resource management strategy, and the components of the strategy are legislated so that we need to be able to again accomplish this provincial directive. We have just been, Peterborough County has just reached out to staff to start their process of their technical advisory committee. My understanding is that they've invited all of the conservation authorities to participate in their TAC, and so we will obviously, being one of the CA, but the one CA that covers all of Peterborough County, we will certainly be participating. I don't know how until we have some meetings, I don't know how they're intending to use that information. But I do know that they are looking for a lot of information, so it'll be a bit of a discussion in terms of things. It might be something we're able to do and might not. It depends on what they're looking for specifically, right? But at the end, our watershed-based resource management strategy, the way it's also the province is wrapping it around is our services that we have, right? So our services in category 1, our services in that we offer is the framework for how we evaluate and pull this together in the strategy. So the county might have a larger context that they're looking for in terms of their strategy, and ours might be just a piece of it.
Just to follow up, if I might, Chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I guess my only concern is that we're not duplicating efforts, and you know, I believe the county study is more detailed. It's on a couple of very specific areas, and I think Mr. Huntley there knows a little bit more about this stuff than I do. They've had a lot of to do with it in Cavan Township. So, but yeah, that's my only concern, is that we're not duplicating efforts here.
Mr. Chair, just as a follow-up, it will be important to have that first meeting. We haven't had that yet to really understand if we are actually duplicating. I don't know if we are or not. I can say from the preliminary email that we have had from the county, there's going to be data that is going to be part of ours and data that they need as part of theirs.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Director Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Question to Kim. Duplication is a great segue to my question, because this is a lengthy document, but it's a legislative requirement that staff have to prepare every year. So, Jeanette, my question is there a lot of this? I didn't go back and read our 2023 draft report. But is there a lot of this that can just be cut and pasted from year to year? Hopefully you don't have to recreate the wheel every year to come up with this plan.
Through you, Mr. Chair, the evaluation of the plan, which is around the effectiveness and efficiency of our services, we do that. We do that in a number of ways, regardless of the strategy that the province is asking us to do. However, the actual strategy is to be reviewed every 5 years. And so a little bit, you know, not every single year do we have to review the strategy. It is based on our programs and services. So the substantive change might be if over year we change our core strategy, our core services somehow, right? So they're not, my opinion is they won't change significantly year over year. We will continue to offer Category 1 services, which are mandated, the services that the municipality is looking for in our Category 3. So I don't see a substantive change year over year in terms of those programs and services.
Well, if a follow-up question, Jeanette, just help me out with my memory. What year was it that the province required conservation authorities to categorize the services with some mandated and some optional? Was that 2 or 3 years ago?
2021.
Okay, thank you.
The process started in 2021.
Thank you, Director. Any other mentions on this report? Seeing none, the recommended motion is be it resolved that report number 2024-042 be received for information, and that the board approve the draft watershed resource management strategy for circulation and comment, and be authorized and directed to do all things necessary to give effect to these resolutions. Can we get a seconder? Everybody is frozen. Oh, I see Joe now. All right, it's me that's frozen.
Everybody's waving, Mike.
Okay, it's going to be Director Taylor and Vice Chair Duguay. All in favor? That is carried. That brings us to item B3, 2024-043, our conservation area strategy. And again, I will pass this over to CAO.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So again, now this was also a provincial directive that all conservation authorities needed to have done completed by the end of this year. We have had this posted on our website for a number of months, and also I included it in the municipal presentations, and we've also sent it to a few of our partners. So again, this strategy is a higher level document. There are a number of things that we're looking forward to working on over the time. This again would be reviewed in 5 years' time, the actual strategy. And in particular, we had a lot of positive feedback with respect to developing some management plans for our conservation lands area. And that's where people really felt that they wanted to get engaged, was at that level versus the strategy level. So I'm happy to answer any questions that the board might have.
Thank you, Jeanette. I see Director Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jeanette, just as a heads up, really, our township is engaged a consultant to come up with a parks and recreation master plan for us. And part of what one of the categories is trails. And the subject of the gravel pit at the end of Crowdy Line came up. Fortunately, the timing was good because he just appeared before our council, I think at the last meeting, and we had a discussion about that. So the consultant is going to be contacting you to ask exactly what Orca plans for that, and it will be added into our recreation master plan. Just want to give you the heads up.
I think we lost our chair.
We did. Mr. Chair, would you like to step in and keep the meeting moving?
Mr. Duguay?
I'd be happy to. So I assume we're at a point we're asking for a resolution to accept the document, correct?
I believe so, yes.
In that regard, could I look forward to a mover? I'm assuming that's Mr. Black, thank you. And Mr. Ashmore, thank you. All those in favor? Good. If I might, on a supplementary note, Joe, congratulations to your municipality proceeding with the Parks and Recreation Master Plan. A supplementary question: will it also pick up the Trans-Canada Trail that traverses parts of your geography? Yes.
Mr. Vice Chair, yes, it will. It'll be mentioned in the trail, although as you know, we don't own that property, but it's available to the public and it's in our township.
Okay, thank you. Just it's curiosity, if nothing else. Oh,
Mr. The chair is back now.
Pressure's off.
Thank you. We'll try this again. Director Black, I see your hand up.
You're on mute.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Didn't touch it.
We're on to the next item, Mr. Chair.
On to the next.
I think our chairman's in a different time zone.
2022. Apparently I am. I'm not sure.
We're glad you're back, Mr.
Chair. 2024-044 draft terms of reference for Finance Committee, and I'll pass this over to our CAO.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this item was brought forward by directors, and so this is a first draft of those terms of reference for a finance committee. It will replace section 15 in the governance bylaws that were referenced specifically to the audit committee. And in particular, there's an opportunity for this committee, should it be required, to meet once the annual budget and capital budget have been prepared, but to meet periodically if required throughout the year to talk about any change or impact the actual financial position of the organization. So it's a little broader than just what the audit committee had. So I'm happy to answer any questions that the board might have.
Thank you, Jeanette. I'm still having some issues seeing movement on video. So if you do have a question or a comment, if you want to unmute and state that you do, I will be able to hear you.
Okay, this is Boyko talking. I don't know if you can see or hear me, but
Well, I can see both now.
okay.
Go ahead, John.
So through what is left of the chair there to you, Jeanette. I just want to ask, what is of significance that is new here as opposed to the powers and responsibilities of the Finance Committee before? So what is new here that is necessitating this?
So Mr. Chair, this was a discussion item at the AGM this year.
Yeah.
And there are really two things. One is under the powers and functions, certainly 4 and 5 are added in terms of things, but also the timing and the sequencing of the appointments is now in sequence of when the actual committee would sit and have the knowledge of a year. So we were always approving a year ahead, and the sequence was a little off. So now we're more in sync with that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Other questions or comments? And again, shout out. For some reason, I can't see any movement. So hearing none. The recommended motion is that report 2024-044 be approved, and that the authority's governance bylaws be updated accordingly. Staff be authorized and directed to do all things necessary to give effect to these resolutions. Get a mover and a seconder.
Happy to move it.
And I would
And
second
you'll just
it.
have to vocalize. Did we
This
catch
one is
that? Because I did not.
I will second it, Mr. Chair, Kevin Duguay.
I have Vice Chair seconding it.
Director Hunt.
I moved it.
And,
It's Ryan.
thank you. Those in favor? And that is carried. This brings us to item C in our agenda, report for information. And C is 2024-045, our monthly activity report, and I will pass it over to our CAO.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So again, the last few weeks have been working and preparing a draft budget, but also all of the risk management official services and programs and services has been sent to the municipalities. We've actually had a few discussions with some of your staff, and we look forward to continuing more if need be. Others are indicating no questions they have. And we were anticipating, so it was good that our timing and everything had lined up, that the FIP grant has been opened up, and we will be making a few applications under that program. They also have a shortened version for CAs that had started the work before and were unable to complete it, and now able to complete it now. So this is good for us from a financial perspective. And I've enjoyed visiting all of your councils. Thank you very much for the warm welcome. It's been really a good opportunity to get out, and I have one left, which is next Tuesday at the City of Kawartha Lakes. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Any comments or questions for our CAO report? Again, I can't see anyone. I apologize. I see a hand for Director Baldwin.
And thanks, Mr. Chair. Just wanted to let the board know that Jeanette did a wonderful job at Peterborough City Council. very interactive presentation, and it was very well received, and I'd be happy to move the report.
Thank you, Gary. Do we get a seconder for that report?
Director Black's up there.
Director Black, I see your hand. Thank you. And all those in favor?
I can make a comment before we
Oh,
vote. Too late?
yeah, sorry, Ron, go ahead.
No, that's okay. No, it's just, again, Jeanette did a great job at Selwyn Council as well. And I thank her for producing the new strategic plan in-house, which at council level, we seem to have a consultant to do everything for us. But it just says a lot about the quality of the staff that we have in Orca, and that they're able to update a strategic plan internally without a lot of additional costs. So I think that was great, and the plan looks great when she presents it. So it was a great meeting. Well done. Now we can vote.
Thank you, Ron, and you're seconding that?
Yeah.
Thank you, and a final call for any comments or questions. I can't see any from my end. All those in favor? And that is carried. That brings to IC2 our 2024 -046 media highlights. And is there any comments or questions for our media report? Seeing none. Do we need a motion to receive?
To receive.
Yeah.
Do we get a motion to receive the media report this evening?
Okay, Boyko will move.
Can't see. Thank you, Michael. Director Huntley, thank you.
No
I heard you
problem.
laugh, so you get to second. All those in favor? Oh, I got some hands. Thank you. That is carried. We have no correspondence this evening. Do we have anything for open forum? Don't believe so. We have no closed sessions. Just a couple notes on future meetings. Conservation Ontario is meeting September 3rd. Our next Board of Directors meeting is October 17th. That will be in person at the Canadian Canoe Museum. And our next Source Protection Authority meeting will be updated at the time needed. And that brings us to our adjournment this evening.
Mr. Chair, you may not be able to see. I think Mr. Ashmore had something under open forum.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Let's go. We'll go back to that. Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to welcome everybody here to Lindsay on October 1st to the 5th of the International Plowing Match and Rural Expo. So we'll be hosting that. It's first time in 32 years that we've hosted it here. Peterborough County has hosted it not too long ago, but we're certainly looking forward to many people coming here to Lindsay and surrounding Lindsay exhibition grounds and surrounding farms. We're going to be hosting the plowing match, so it's kind of a once-in-a-generation event, and certainly everyone, if you have time on October 1st to the 5th to come over to Lindsay and see the event, certainly welcome to come. Thank you.
Ron, I can let you know that my wife and many of her fellow retirees from Ross Memorial Hospital are volunteering at the event.
Very good. No, the volunteers make it. They make it. That's the only way we could do it without the volunteers. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks very much. That's it.
Great. Thank you, Ron. That is a great event, and thank you for that update.
Thanks.
And that will bring us back to our adjournments. We'll call for a motion to adjourn.
I move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Kevin. And we have a seconder. I don't have a visual. I'll just need a
I'll second Ron Black.
direct you. And all those in favor? I do have some hands. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for this evening, and I apologize for